teacher.
How old were you?
16.
What happened?
Long story short, completely unbelievable, but true to every word. Got a job with a woman, and was wound up offered a job as a surrogate father for that woman, and was paid to have sex with that woman at 16.
Who paid you? The woman paid you?
Yes.
This happened here in St. Louis?
Yes.
Did this ever come to light?
Did whatever come to light?
Did this story ever come to light? Is this did you father
this?
this?
All my friends knew about it. I mean, I bragged about it. You know.
I was did you have a child with this woman?
Never happened.
And who was this woman? She hired you for a job?
Yep. I was the caretaker, like groundskeeper, cleaned the pool, did some painting, mowed the yard. You know.
Yeah.
That was in like 1982.
82. What part of town was this in?
I'd rather not say.
Okay. All right. And what are your? I mean, do you feel like you were taken advantage of?
Yeah, to a degree. Now looking back, of course I was. But at the time, thought it was pretty darn cool.
Right. So what do you say to? You do have a son now?
Absolutely. 13-year-old boy.
What's if your son was in a similar situation?
I would discourage it, just as my mother did.
Oh, so your mother knew about it?
Yes. And she disapproved to the point where I left the house, because at that point I could pay my own rent somewhere.
Right. How old were you again?
16.
16. I mean, in a sense, she was raping you.
Yeah.
Because you as a 16-year-old,
the old phrase, you can't rape the willing. Okay.
Well, except the willing, a 16-year-old can't consent.
You can't make that legal decision at that age.
Right. So she was, by definition, raping you.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the woman?
I don't know. Kind of lost track, once I got out of high school, just kind of walked away from that and really never looked back.
Yeah. Did you think you were dating her?
No, not at all.
So it was just a sex for hire type of situation.
It was strictly business. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in a sense, she was paying you to have sex with her.
Yes.
And how long did this relationship last?
A couple years.
So you started when you were 16 and what? Ended when you were 19, 18?
Yeah, 18, 19, just after high school.
Yeah. So when you hear about this cheerleader raping this 15-year-old boy, what are your thoughts?
I do believe it is a complete double standard.
Yeah.
And like you said, guys go, I wish that was my boy, or I wish that would have happened to me when I was younger. Well, really you don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
now, do you suffer any emotional scars or anything from the situation you were in?
I don't know. I was quite the womanizer for a big part of my life, and that could have been because of that. I don't know.
Right.
Who knows? I'm not a therapy kind of guy. I just deal with it, and move on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Which is always good, just to never acknowledge it, and never let it rear its ugly head and keep pushing it down further and further.
Right. That's what we're supposed to do as men. Right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. Are you happily married now?
Yes, happily married for the last 8 years. Didn't get married until I was 42, and that's probably given a lot away about me. A lot of people know me. So.
Yeah. Does your wife know about this story?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
John, thank you very much for your candidness, and thank you for the phone call.
Talk to you next time.
You got it. We're talking about this 49-year-old woman who was admitted that she raped a 15-year-old boy, and she got probation for it in Baltimore. Bob on a cell. You're on the Big 550 KTRS. Bob, welcome.
Yes, how are you?
How are you, Bob?
I'm doing fine. I'm just on my way into the office. When I was 14 years old, I was bird dogging around a girl that lived down the block from us, and who was very pretty. And over a period of a month or so, I wound up sleeping with her mother. And strangely enough, I was 14 and she was 37.
You were sleeping with your neighbors.
The girl that I wanted to actually date, I wanted to sleep with her mother.
How old were you? You were 14?
I was 14. And it's even worse than that because I was in the seminary.
How long ago was this?
Well, I'm going to turn 70 in April, so it's been a while ago.
You're going to turn 70 in April, so this was 56 years ago?
Yeah, right.
How long did this relationship last with this woman?
Well, it lasted for quite a length of time, probably about 3 or 4 months, and then her husband was a police officer, and she was separated from him. And I came home one night to the house, and the police officer was sitting in my living room talking to my dad.
And that's
when it ended at that point.
So your parents found out about it?
Yeah, my dad was absolutely livid.
I could imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the girl? Did the girl ever find out?
No.
Yeah. What happened after? So the relationship ended after your parents found out.
Yeah, when her husband was sitting in my living room with my dad, and oh my God, I mean it was something. Yeah.
Do you think you were raped?
No.
Why?
Yeah, she was. First off, she was extremely pretty. She was a redhead with green eyes, and her husband had been kind of abusive, and one thing led to another. We used to have long conversations in that, and it kind of just happened. So.
Did you? So you was fully consensual. You were mature enough to appreciate what you were getting yourself into, even though you were headed to the seminary.
Yeah, I was actually in the seminary at the time.
As a 14-year-old.
I was studying to be a priest.
Did you end up becoming a priest?
No, I did not. No.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, after that happened, then I kind of went the other way, and I became a bit of a womanizer, even as a child. At 14, 15 years old, and the seminary threw me out.
Yeah.
Because I was dating girls.
Do you?
I know what you're going to say.
Do you think that episode where this 37-year-old woman was treating you as an adult, do you think that sort of stilted you to have you become more of a womanizer trying to deal with your emotional situation?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
Did you ever tell your wife about this story?
I did not. No, and she passed away in 2005. So.
Huh. Bob and Estelle, thank you very much for your phone call. And what part of town was this in?
Oh, I'd rather not tell you. It was in St. Louis County, though.
Okay. Bob and Estelle, thank you very much for your phone call. You got it.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's 2 phone calls you don't normally get there. By the way, they'll tell you everything there is to know, but they won't tell you where in town it is. John on a cell, hold on. We'll take your phone call as well. I had a feeling that there were going to be young men who were abused by older women. If you want to tell your story and tell the world that that this is not an oddity and that this happens all the time, I'd love to hear it. 314-969-KTRS or 1-888-550-KTRS or star KTRS. Those are the phone numbers.